want to do more. So the system I've been using is, like I said, everything we've been given. I've been doing the calls, the cold callings. I've been doing the DMs, and I tried to jump into the emails. And actually, for the client, I got the cold emails what worked. So I
Alhamdulillah.
just drafted the email, and I had already made a Loom video, like stating my offer and inviting them. I added that Loom video to the emails, saying, just so you know, like, this is customized to you. Here's a
Mhm.
video that you can go over.
I've
And
actually
I
added
think they
that.
also have the video.
Like, what I promised to you was, if you were to jump on the call today, what I'll do is basically make that as a lesson, like how to scale through emails as well. So let me kind of
Hmm.
explain that in much more detail to everyone else once we get onto
Okay.
the slides. But mainly, what I wanted to ask Aisha was, I know that you mentioned that after these mindset calls that we have every Saturday, you get a bit more fired up. Would you be able to kind of give a couple of key points to people that you kind of related with in the past couple of Saturday group calls that we've had that might just help people get their client in the next coming week? Like, are there any specific points that you remember?
So one thing I've always tried to keep in mind now is don't overthink, because naturally I think I'm an overthinker and always want things perfect.
Yeah.
So the don't overthink is has been my go-to. I've always just kept that in mind during the calls, before the calls. I always tell myself, don't overthink, don't overthink. Like I repeat that a lot of times. Then I sit down for the calls and I don't expect anything actually from the calls. When I call, I know I'm gonna get multiple answers, and I've learned to just take those all and work with them. If you say no, thank you, I say okay, have a good day. If you say don't call this number again, I say sure, that's fine. So I've just been trying to have fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're interested, I try to explain in details, and some customers like they try to make a joke or two, and I just go along with it.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. Absolutely. Like, my personal takeaways from what Aisha just said was two things. Number one, know your patterns. If you know you're an overthinker, then come up with ways on how to prevent that. Basically, affirmations, stop overthinking, stop overthinking. My second takeaway was doing effective actions without putting emotional attachment to it. So basically, doing the actions without really expecting anything, just kind of doing it because they're proven actions, and just having fun with it. That's what a lot of people forget to do. And I know on our testimonial video, that's what you said. Have fun with it. Don't forget that. Um, and you're a mother, right? I show you're a mother.
yeah, like every week when I come home, every day when I come home, like I try to update my mom.
Hmm.
And before I actually started this, I told her, "Hey, you're gonna be my sounding board. Make sure you like pressure me to do the action steps every day. I need that." And she was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." So every day she asks me, and I give her update. And when, like, sometimes if I want to give up, she's like, if something is easy, it's not gonna last. But anything
Absolutely.
that you work for, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So I've just been telling myself that as well, and I know how much I
Amazing.
want this. So alhamdulillah, it's starting to go well.
Alhamdulillah. And I was also asking, like, do you have kids yourself?
Yes, I do have three. Actually, one is here. I don't know if you're hearing
Yeah,
him. He's
no,
3
we can.
months
That's why I asked. Like, I'm just trying to ask, with your busy schedule, with you working, you having three kids, probably family responsibilities. How exactly do you manage the calls, getting a client, putting focus on this? Like, I feel like it would be pretty useful for people to know here.
So when I started the course, I was still on maternity leave. I hadn't started work yet, so I used to go hide in the closet. Then I tell them it's a game, so they can like be in the living room, and or sometimes I wait for them to take a nap. Then I do my calls, and after that, after I started work, it became a little harder. I thought being home was gonna be hard, but being at work was even harder. So I take my lunch breaks and I do like an hour of calls.
Hmm.
Then,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I've been juggling.
Yeah, it happened in 3 weeks. I mean, this just is an example, guys, of someone that really wants to make it work, and they find ways to actually do that. But yeah, Jazakallah for that, sister. Really, really appreciate that. Hopefully, people take something out of it. And alhamdulillah, we're starting this flywheel. Flywheel is basically you say something like this, you give people motivation, people take that into consideration, get results next week. They share their advice, and it just is a powerful cycle. That's literally what's doubled the results that we're getting in the program in the past couple of weeks. So I'm really, really grateful for you guys and the mindset that you're carrying with you. But let me share my screen with you. Let's get on to the mindset presentation that we have every single week. So let me know whenever you guys see the screen. Also, guys, one request is that the whole purpose of this presentation is to actually practically help you. So if I ask you to drop a 1 or a 2 in the chat, it just basically means 1 is I understand what you're saying. 2 is I don't understand what you just said. So can you please explain that once more? Because the worst thing that would be that I keep speaking and you don't understand what I'm saying. So please drop a 1 in the chat when I ask you to, and 2 if you don't understand anything. But let's get on to the presentation. So the way we kind of structure this is it's all tailored towards mindset. Maybe I say 1 or 2 things that click with you, that really relate with you, and that allows you to take the action that you already know you should be doing, which then leads you to actually getting results. Now, everyone here on this call is in phase 2, attempting to get their first client. So it's pretty normal to be confused, uncertain. This is completely new for you. So just take it one step at a time. Let's focus on just mindset on this call. After this call, I'll also ask you to drop a motivation meter just so I can understand whether this call or what I said on the call actually helped you or not. So on the WhatsApp, if you just drop a scale 1 to 10, 10 being this was the perfect call, this is exactly what I needed motivation wise, 1 was this was completely used, like it was nothing, basically it didn't help me at all. Now, the intentions for why we do what we do, or at least why I do what I do, is number 1, helping and supporting 1 million orphans in third world countries. And number 2 is I'd like to make this the best community for a Muslim to start a halal business. It's very important for me to make my intentions very clear so you guys can judge me off of my intentions. And hopefully, if I make a mistake or 2, know that my intentions were right. And maybe you can correct me if I go wrong anyway. Now, today's topic is upper limits and minimum standards. Number 2 is combo prospecting and direct response marketing. Now, let's start off the first topic by just kind of giving the basics. Your life is a direct reflection of your beliefs. Your beliefs influence your actions, the little small decisions that you make every single day. Your action or decisions are responsible for the environment right now, your environment right now, where you currently own, have, what your life looks like, and literally every single aspect of your life right now. Now, the way I wanted to explain this upper limit and minimum standards is by this graph that you see in front of you. So basically, the way our life operates, and hopefully you can see my cursor. Can everyone see my cursor? Can you please drop a 1 in the chat, just testing out. Is everyone with me? This cursor. You see this? Okay, cool. I see the ones in the chat. This is good enough. Right. So basically, the way I'm going to explain this is this represents our life. So let's talk about weight first. A couple of people might have issues with, their weight. They might not be happy with where their weight is. So for example, your standard, as in the minimum standard that you have in life, is to be, let's say, 70 kgs, right? 70 kgs. As soon as you get here, you start to let go. You start to let go. And basically what happens is your actions start to reflect that. You stop eating well, you stop exercising, and then it goes back down to this pain. And you get to 70 kgs, and then you go up to, let's say, 80 to 90 kgs, whatever the case is, and it keeps bouncing up and down like this. So basically what this means is we have these standards in our mind. So minimum standard of, okay, I need to be at least this weight, and I cannot go above this weight. So basically, I cannot go above 80 kgs and I cannot go below 70 kgs. As soon as we go at that 70 kg mark, we start to kind of let go. We start to kind of not care as much about it. Let's talk about profession as well. So with profession, it could be, let's say, for example, Daniel Gafoor. He's a student or a medical student, or he's at least he's graduated last year, I think. He started a job. Is that correct, Daniel?
Yes, it is. I'm currently working as a doctor.
Yeah, so you're a doctor now. So where I'm going with this is, let's say, for example, God forbid, for whatever reason you lost your job, you have this minimum standard of, okay, I need to get a basically a job being a doctor again. You won't go below your standard being, working as a toilet cleaner or something. That would be way out of your minimum standard. And what we need to understand is these upper limits and minimum standards dictate our life when it comes to income, savings. So let's say, for example, if you have this pattern in your life that you notice with savings or income, that as soon as you have, let's say, 10K in your account, you do something, you do whatever the case is to go ahead and spend it, right, on a holiday or buying something, whatever the case is, spending on family. And then as soon as you could go add that, below 10K mark, you start to panic, you start to do the actions, and then you get to that 10K mark and you let go again, and then it goes back down again. So you keep bouncing off from the upper limit to minimum standards. It also goes with hygiene, the way your environment looks like, your clothes being messy or not, or your your room being messy or not. So as soon as you hit that minimum standard, you start to panic, and then it starts to go up again, and then you reach your upper limit and it goes down again. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's very important to not have your upper limit be where you are right now. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're pretty content or happy with the income that you're making right now, don't let that be the upper limit that actually stops you from actually going more and making more, because that's a pretty common thing that all people do. Now, in general, the reason why we have these upper limits or minimum standards is because we're meant to be in tribes. Like, if you think back to thousands of years ago, we were all in tribes. We associated like certain identities to ourselves, like we are this, we are this. So if you went away from what your tribe is generally like, that signaled danger to your subconscious. Now, I'm not an expert in this, but it generally signal danger to your subconscious, because if you do not go within your tribe's expectations, then when danger comes, you won't be protected by your tribe. So that's the way my mentors taught me this. But what I'm trying to say is, it's very, very important to not have your the upper limit being your income right now. It's very important to have your minimum standards raised, as in your minimum standard should be at least making 10,000 a month. Now, the way it also works is subconsciously. Basically, I've given you an imagery of a bucket of crabs. So as soon as you start to do these actions that go beyond your upper limit, these crabs, they pull you back down. They pull you back down to where you'd stay within that limit. So that's literally the way majority of our lives work. Like, I call this subconscious self-sabotage. Like, you'd make these little decisions. You'd say, oh no, it's fine, I've done enough cold calls, or whatever the case is, I'm still learning, I'm okay, I'm no rush, or let me work on my website first, whatever the case is. Just busy stuff that stops you from actually getting the work done, that allows you to breach your upper limit and actually get to your minimum standards. So we don't reach our goals, we actually reach our minimum standards, like our hygiene standards. Like, I need to get this done. When you create that hygiene standard of, I need to make 10,000 a month, that's where the true pain will come, and you'll do whatever you can to actually get to your goals. Is everything making sense so far? Can you please drop a 1 in the chat if it does, 2 if it doesn't, so I could maybe repeat a point or two? Yeah, cool. I see these ones. Perfect. Right now, you're probably wondering, okay, cool, awesome. How do I actually raise my minimum standards? Now, here's a quote by this famous psychologist. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. So what that basically means is, the upper limits and the minimum standards that you have, until you're conscious of those, like actually by noticing the patterns you've had so far, or literally noticing what you've had in your life for the past 2 to 3 years, that will show you what your upper limit and your minimum standard is. Until you make that conscious, it will keep happening, and then you will call it, oh, it's just luck. It's just meant to be. This is what my life is. So many people I notice they keep bouncing off like, oh, it's fine. I'll work on this. I'll work on that. I need to do these other things first. Like, just focus on the most effective things that actually help you make solid progress very quickly. So the answer to that question is, how do I actually raise my minimum standards? Is just awareness. So you're probably then wondering, but Azam, what do you mean by awareness? This is just a homework that I like to give you guys if you are actually serious about change, which is exercise number 1. List out all the beliefs that you have about the future. Let's say for myself, it was, when you do take action of any sort, you're doing a lot more than an average person would. And naturally, a feature of taking a lot of action is that you get a lot of failures. Like, that's just a natural byproduct of doing anything new, that at the start you get a lot of failures of things seemingly not working. So what my kind of belief, or the unconscious belief that was dictating my life for a while was, I'm just a loser. Like, everything's going wrong. Like, I can't seem to get a break. So one of my beliefs, like, literally was, I'm a loser. Like that, I wrote this out, and what that would kind of look like with my let's say, for example, cold calls or DM outreaches, that every time someone would say no to me, I would say, oh God, like, it's not gonna work out. Like, it's just, I basically take that as evidence of me being a loser and how nothing's gonna work out for me. Now you might have something else. So what I'd like you to do is to actually break out of the upper limit that you have and actually get to the things that you desire. You need to list out all the things that you might believe about the future. And it's not that you have to fight them. It's not that when you're making cold calls or doing the outbound systems, if you're getting this doubt, oh, I can't do this, I'm not confident enough, I don't have experience. It's not that you need to fight that. Stop thinking that, stop thinking that. It's just notice it. Let that be conscious. Let that be conscious. The more you are aware of it, the more you can just ignore it. Like, Aisha, like, you have young children, um they must say things that are pretty, I'm not calling them out or anything, I'm just saying they must say things that are pretty ridiculous or just funny. So you don't take everything they say so seriously. You need to kind of take the same concept that you use with your little children by just kind of laughing off some of the things that they say, um, and use the same with your thoughts, these negative thoughts, these things that you can clearly notice that just are not true about the future, and just let them be. Don't fight them. Don't ever just do yourself a favor. If you are aware of a negative thought, don't say stop thinking that, stop thinking that, because you go in this negative loop of putting more attention to it, putting more awareness to it, and then it gets even worse. So exercise number 1 is list out all the beliefs that you have about what the future can look like for you. It could be, I'm not confident, I can't do this, I can't see this working, whatever the case is. And exercise number 2 is to raise your minimum standard. Say, this is what will happen if I don't make 10K a month. And Abdul, I know what's going to happen if, and obviously I'm not going to share it, but I know what's going to happen if you don't make 10K a month within the next couple of months. So you need to make it as severe as possible so you can raise that minimum standard, so you really start taking action, and then your brain will, the same part of your brain that is responsible for your confirmation bias, looking for proofs, looking for evidences in your physical life, that will be used to then getting out of that pain that you put yourself into. So artificial pain, kind of. So another way I'd kind of explain this point is gun to the head. And it is pretty extreme, but that's the only way I can explain this. Is just imagine someone had a gun to your head and said, hey, Abdul, if you don't make 10K a month within the next 4 months, I'll shoot you. What different actions would you do than you're doing right now? I know it's a pretty severe example, but the way my mentors explained this to me was gun to the head marketing. Like, forget about all the noise, forget about everything, gun to the head marketing. You have to get clients in the next week. What are you going to do? It really helped me. It puts you in that spot to actually think outside the box and get things done, and not kind of get into the excuses that you give to yourself. Now, before I move on to the next thing, any questions about what I just spoke about? Does that fully make sense to everyone? Please drop a 1 in the chat if it does. Right. Perfect. Jazakallah for that. So, okay. Sure, Mohammed. You got a question? You can unmute yourself. What if your baseline is already low? Let's go back to the graph. So what if so when you receive that, you feel content? Well, in that way, you just have to have clarity on what exactly is the main thing that you're desiring over here. Like, yeah, I know your goals are to look after your family and be able to be in a position where you're able to do that comfortably and not have your dad working. So your pain would be that if I don't get to this point, then I won't be able to look after my dad, or I won't be able to, have him quit his job. So that's the way I would raise my minimum standards if I was in your position. It's not just about making money; it's about also reasons behind why you want to actually make that money. So it's like solid reasons. You know, exercise number 2 that I talked about. It's what is your pain. That's the way you actually do it. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. No problem. So yeah, the next topic that I wanted to talk about was combo prospecting, right? So combo prospecting is basically a way where you reach out to one person through multiple different ways. Like basically, you get a leads list and you have their phone number, you have their email, you have their Instagram account, you have their LinkedIn. And combo prospecting is basically you use 2 or more methods to reach out to the same person so you have more touch points with them to increase the likelihood of them responding to you. Now, this can be pretty confusing considering in project 2, I've already told you guys to do calling plus IG. So the way you can simplify this is basically ask a Fiverr person to kind of scrape the leads using IG Scraper. IG Scraper is basically like an extension. To be honest, you could do it yourself as well, like an extension that goes onto Instagram and scrapes those leads for you, that has their phone number and also, of course, their Instagram accounts. So you can do is call them. If they don't answer, leave them a message on Instagram and text them as well and email them as well. So it's basically multiple touch points to get to the same person. I think that's what Aisha did. She called someone, they didn't answer. She emailed them. Offer was so good, they responded back, closed them as a client. And basically, step 2 is basically call them, send a message on IG, and if they don't answer, email them. Now, let me give you an example of Aisha's email. Aisha, is it okay if I show people your loom? If not, I completely understand because it's personal to you.
Sure, I don't mind. I might just go away from the computer because I don't want to hear my own voice.
Yeah, that's why I asked. It is pretty awkward.
That's okay. Fine.
Just show people that it doesn't have to be, next level professional. But yeah, this is the email that you send to your client. So subject, let's get you high paying clients. So, hi dear, I noticed you're using Groupon. Great post. Just to introduce myself, my name is Aisha from Nexus M Digital. I work with businesses just like yours who are fed up of losing 50% of their income. So basically, I love that you digged out their pain. That is amazing. You're a natural digital marketer. So you said you're tired of losing 50% of your income to all sales generated through Groupon. I have worked with businesses just like yours. So basically, some of it is also the template that I gave to you, right, Aisha? You just changed these bits to Groupon, but other than that, it's the same template, right?
Yeah, it is the same.
It's the same one that I've given to you guys on phase 2, so you can find that over there. Now, let me show you guys the Loom video, and Aisha, if you want, you can put myself on mute. But it's not bad. It's very good, actually. It worked. It got you money. That's the main thing.
Hi there, it's Aisha here, and I really appreciate you accepting our request. So our promise is simple. It's basically that we can help you get 15 plus more high-value clients within the next 90 days, purely on a pay-on-result basis. And this simply means that if you don't win, we don't win either. So let's say for some reason we don't get you 15 clients within 90 days, well, we'll give you a full refund and we'll work with you for free until you do. So who we help actually are accounting firm owners like yourself, whether you're a new accounting firm, an existing accounting firm looking to scale your business, or for any reason needs boost in your business, we are here to help. Our strategies are simple, but they work like a charm. So how about we jump on a 15-minute consultation and I walk you through our process? I'm looking forward to working with you.
It's literally the same Loom video that I've made for my own agency. Aisha's basically copied the same structure, which is also recommended to all of you. And just a point over there, if you guys are wondering, she's using the accounting niche and I'm using that as well. What if we both do the same person? Trust me, this is the way marketing works. People work with people that they like. You've seen a million different people selling courses, programs to start a business. You went with me because you relate with my story, who Azam is. So do not worry. Just this is the reason why we make Loom videos, etc. So people can see, hey, this is a Muslim lady. I relate with her. I'd like to work with her. And someone else like Abdul with the same offer, people will relate with you. So don't worry about competition. I know exactly how many people using the niches. So there's no competition whatsoever. Do not worry about that. Let me go back to the presentation. But that was a Loom video from Aisha. Clearly worked. It got her paid $19.50. She did not have to do any cold calls. She just sent out an email. The person reached out, got on a call. That's pretty much it. Now, the way I would do this is going back to combo prospecting. You could either do two things. So you can get a Fiverr person to scrape leads from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So that will give you name, phone number, email, and also LinkedIn. What you could do is basically call them and also email them, giving you all the templates in project 2. Or you could do IG scraper yourself, scrape the IGs for everyone that you call, so you can message them on IG and also call them. So this is just something that maybe you can try this week and see how it goes. Now, one interesting thing that I wanted to share with you guys is, we get too caught up in what we're doing right now, the digital marketing. Like, it seems like a gimmick, always this new thing. But I'm not really teaching you digital marketing. I'm teaching you direct response marketing. Direct response marketing, in the simplest terms, and I'm not going to go too technical into it, but the simplest way I can describe it is basically you put out an offer. An offer is basically selling the dream to any market. Any market. You put out an offer with a very, very clear call to action. If you're interested in this outcome, this dream, this product, whatever the case is, then shoot me a message or call this number, whatever the case is. So I've given you examples of direct response marketing with not just digital marketing, but using the same principles on how it's done with TV ads and also direct mail, like literally sending letters through people's post boxes. Right. So let me give you an example of a TV ad. I could have given better examples, but to be honest, a lot of them had just, inappropriate things. So I thought this is the best one. So this is for Chums. It's like a company, I think in the UK, which targets elderly people who would like to buy clothes, whatever the case is. And look at the way they've done it. So they've used the principle of use a marketing channel where your ideal audience hangs around. Okay, TV for elderly people. Number 2, give them a way to reach out in the easiest way possible and show them someone basically that looks like them, this old guy. I'll play it now, and give them a very, very clear number. It clearly shows their number, and then people call them and then order the stuff because they can't do it themselves, but they have given the online website as well, so they can do it if they know how to. But most people, I'm guessing, would call and then order. But let me play this.
At Chums, people love our wonderful range of soft furnishings, bedding and lifestyle products, like our Christie towels and our beautiful cottage garden quilt set. Chums offer free delivery on your first order when you quote home TV, plus free returns within 30 days as standard.
So basically, sell the dream for an old person, then give a risk reversal. Risk reversal is basically 30-day free returns or whatever the case she said. But basically, offer, risk reversal, guarantee basically, and then look.
There's so much to choose from, all in one place. Order online at chums.co.uk or call 0800 033 2000 to request a free catalogue today.
So did you guys see this? Offer, and I know there could have been a better example, but general principle: offer, then what's it called, risk reversal, and then call to action. Exactly the same thing that you guys are doing. Offer, I help this niche get this much, guaranteed, risk reversal, and then call to action, book in a call. It's very interesting. It's nothing new. It's simply direct response marketing. The only thing that has changed is the people that you're targeting are mostly on Facebook, Instagram, or the best way is cold calling to them. I should have let me mute you. But yeah, the example beside is for a direct mail example. So basically, it's giving example for insurance. It's giving the offer, like save 500, and then it's basically, I think it gives a risk reversal. Apologies for this. I know it is pretty small, but then it gives a very clear call to action. Call this and says 15-minute call could save you 500. So basically, appealing to their self-interest, selling the dream, and then clear call to action. Very, very simple. But let me give you a more relevant example of a pretty big agency that my media buyers are currently working with. He's in the med spa agency, so I thought this would be pretty relevant for you guys to see, and especially Abdul, since we're running ads right now for you. So basically, he's working with a med spa, basically med spa niche, and this is the sort of ads that he's running. Let me give you an example of this one.
If you are a medical spa owner and you want to double your business this year, the solution is not to hire a marketing agency. And I know this because over the last 6 years, I've had hundreds and hundreds, if not close to 1,000 conversations with medical spa owners. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story of a clinic owner hiring agency after agency after agency and not getting good results and firing their agency after 3 months and just
So basically what he's trying to do over here is he starts off with a strong kind of offer, let's say, for example, double your business. And then he talks about the pain points that a lot of his people in the niche would have, even though he's an agency himself. So he's throwing shade at other agencies and coming out with, this new method. So AI tech, you don't need a marketing agency. So they're like, what is this? AI? What's this new thing? Tell me more about it. Right, and then basically clear offer, probably a risk reversal somewhere in the video, and then clear call to action. Learn more. Is this making sense? Again, any questions about what I'm going through right now, guys? Okay, one, it's making sense. Cool. So this is basically a relevant example to what your ads could look like in the future. But let me go back to the last slide. To end it off, I know this one was pretty long. So yeah, just basically ending it off saying that instead of TV viewers or Facebook algorithm, for now, for people in phase 2, we're using outbounds, like actually effort to show as many people as possible what our offer is, what our risk reversal is, and clear call to actions to book in a call. So your offer is basically like a bubble wrap for any product or service. So you can sell anything. So this is very, very useful for people that you might know that are trying to start businesses, and they're like, I have this crazy, amazing idea, and I know this is going to make a lot of money, whatever the case is. Tell them, hey, it's not about your idea. It's about the transformation that your market desires. Show that to them, get a risk reversal in for them, and then give them a very clear call to action. Use your sales process, turn that into cash, and move on to the next step. That is simply all I'm teaching you guys. It's probably the oldest thing possible. Like, you've seen TV ads probably countless times, so many different ads. They're using the same principle: offer, risk reversal, call to action. Now, not every offer has a risk reversal, but if you want to get more leads, then a risk reversal is very, very useful. That's pretty much it from my side, guys. Unless you have questions about the presentation, we will end this call over here. Of course, I'm always here on the WhatsApp chat. If you have any questions about the program, any help you need, Samir is always here for a 10-minute one-on-one if you really need it. But always open for any questions. But is everyone clear on what we've talked about? Any questions? I'm open to anything right now. Or if you wanted me to discuss anything in particular as well. I'll wait 1 minute. Cool. There doesn't seem to be any questions. I guess we'll end it over here. Hopefully you found this pretty useful. Inshallah, let me know if you have any questions. And also a request would be that if you drop a 1 to 10 scale in the WhatsApp chat, just to let me know how you found this presentation. 10 will be this was perfect. 1 is completely, just a waste of my time. The more feedback you give to me, the better I can get. Well, inshallah, guys, I will see you guys next week.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.